listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Regular listeners to the show will know that we used to play the Four every week at one point. And I love the Four very, very much. And Marquis Smith died this week, and he changed my life in many ways. He created a sort of music which is the most incredible, fresh and exciting and original, thought-provoking, brilliant music I've ever heard. The problem with loving the Four is that no other band ever sounds anywhere near as good. But anyway, he will be missed. I'll never see the Four live again, and that is horrible. So, comedy. How are you guys?
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Well, I'm glad you're back, Frank. We missed you last week.
I've been poorly.
I know.
You sound ill and emotional, but I think it's...
my throat's going a bit...
you're
Well,
back.
I quite like it. He's got the slight huskies, which I've got to say I like.
There's that missing dog in our area.
The husky.
That husky. Signs are still up.
Oh, what was it?
I said to Buzz yesterday, we could be out in the cold looking for this dog. The dog could be lying warm in its private parts by a coal fire.
Lucky
in a lovely local home.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Tell us, if your husky's been found, put it on the sign. Put a sticker on.
Yeah.
Because we could look for that forever. Should we start with whatever happened to?
Yeah, go on.
I think that'd be good. A bit of structure. Whatever happened to dandruff?
100%.
It used to be everywhere, dandruff. I used to know, in my life, there were 7 regular people, I would say, in my life who had quite heavy... That one where it used to get under the collar as well as just on it, because it had been there so long.
You're right.
And you would never be on a packed train and not see it. You'd never...
No.
Well, it was some people had it all over the shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you remember?
What happened
This
to
is
it?
a bit minging, actually.
Well, I think it became democratised, didn't it? The beauty industry.
Oh.
Essentially.
You're thinking Vosine.
No, but I mean, it was available to all. I think people are suddenly, take, dare I say it, more of a pride in their appearance now.
And good for them.
Yeah.
It's weird, though. Someone said to me the other day, he used to have quite a lot of dandruff about someone, and I thought, yeah, he did, but where's it gone?
Oh, who is that about?
I don't like it when you talk about me when I'm not in the room.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't wear a black jacket for about 10 years. So, yeah, it's that's gone. Do you think, would anyone have the courage if they made... if they made a TV series set in the 70s to add dandruff
to
people's shoulders and stuff for period authenticity?
Well, I'll tell you what else I'd add. I would insist that I went round with a yellow and brown pens painting the teeth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I hate things that are set in the 70s when they've got nice teeth.
Well, I've seen things set in the Middle Ages where they've got nice teeth. It's incredible. I don't know if they had dandruff. I don't think they could afford it. In that period. Right. But that would be... I'm going to write something that's got a character that's got dandruff in it.
Yeah.
But then the kids, you see, they'd all be on knapsack and all that.
Yeah.
Saying, what is this dandruff the old guy's writing
the
about?
Dick Whittington site.
Knapsack it's an app,
Knapsack,
isn't it?
Yes, it's a popular app. 7-second videos, I think it is. Yeah.
You not got it?
It's
Emily, you've not got a knapsack?
No.
Oh.
Well, I'm trying.
Doctor.
What else is that? Bread knife, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Bread knife. I'm on bread knife. Just really mainly just for sport stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't use it for sport, bread knife.
What do you use it for?
Music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gossip,
it wouldn't
music
actually,
gossip.
if you think about it, wouldn't be a terrible name for a social media thing.
What, bread knife?
Because it's going through the crust of the news into the soft...
Keeps cutting out, though.
Yeah, and a slice of life. You're getting a slice of life, you know what I'm saying?
That could be their little slogan, Frank.
Yeah. Serration, not irritation. That could be
That's good.
That could be their slogan for the bread knife app. Yeah, I might do that. I had an idea. I'll share with you after this. I had an idea about a podcast idea. Because
Okay.
everyone's
got one now. I'm getting embarrassed that I've got one.
Everyone's doing them. Emily's. Can I recommend Emily's does a podcast with the Times, which she goes for a walk with a dog and a celebrity.
Yeah.
It's called Talkie Walkies. I'd recommend it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yes. So I think eventually I'm going to have to do some sort of podcast because everybody's doing one. You doing one now?
We've all got one, love.
This is one. This becomes one.
I know this becomes one, but I mean an individual one where I talk about a specialist subject.
When you say, am I doing a podcast, I was going to say, this, because I consider this to be a podcast as well.
I consider this a radio show, which is then captured.
Yeah.
Right.
And like one might go out and... do they still capture tigers and take them to zoos?
Yeah, I think
I don't know. Can you check up on that,
I
please?
probably can't say
I
that.
think that still happens.
Can you get me a list, Dave, of things that one can still say in the public forum?
Not that it's overdue or anything.
It might be easier than
Yeah, I
to get a
think
list of things you can't say.
A5 should do it. You won't need A4.
Oh, Frank, can I just interrupt this broadcast
Please do.
with some news from 937?
I'd say this show is largely based on interruptions.
Well, it is really. But it's based on something we were discussing earlier. 937 says, morning all, most people shower now rather than bathe, therefore rinsing out their hair properly. That's Paul from Nunhead.
I wouldn't have thought of...
Breaking dandruff news on
Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah. That's
Absolute 70 now.
That is a good... I hadn't thought of that, I must admit.
That is
Because
good.
before they were just sitting in their own filth, and now
And of
Right.
they're good
course,
to go.
this is the age of the sort of the tiny mobile vacuum.
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
there used to be just the big metal things, whereas now you can just do your shoulders over before you leave the house.
Yeah.
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 So if you did see somebody who had dandruff, would it be totally legit to tap them on their powdery shoulder and say, you should consider showering instead of bathing from now on? Do you think is that fine?
It was one of those things
that
that no
allowed?
one ever mentioned, wasn't it? Because
was.
there's a figure that when you take your jacket off, there it is anyway. So you'd know.
Yeah.
It's
it
like
would-
living in a snowstorm. You know those snowstorm ornament?
Yes.
It's like living in
a
one
snow
of those.
globe. It would become a character trait that we had friends, mainly actors, and my parents would say, the one with terrible dandruff. That's how we referred to these
right.
people.
Well, it occurs to me now that you could have dandruff storms where they're not snowstorms at all. That you could, if you had friends who had dandruff, you could have a small 3D representation of their head and shoulders, and then have them in one of those, and be a nice Christmas gift.
That'd be good.
Wouldn't even be Christmas. It'd be Christmas 'cause it's no longer snow based. There you go. Another the amount
So
of,
full of ideas.
commercial ideas I've had.
And
on.
Willie
And you've had one
DeVore
for a podcast,
has
so-
also been in touch.
Willie DeVore?
Willie DeVore. He says, when your producer
Is
drops...
Willie DeVore related to Pussy Galore?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is that on the A5?
By marriage.
Yeah. When your
think.
producer drops the fez on the desk, would she be known as a fez dispenser?
That
that is good.
Come on.
I like that.
Very good.
Yeah.
What's your most unusual Pez dispenser head? What's yours? What's the most unusual one you've
I
ever
don't know
had?
what ones we've got in the
I've
house.
got
We've
Jim
a few.
Rosenthal.
Have you? Very good.
That's a very limited edition out in the 80s, late 80s.
Chris Evans should have done those when they did the TFI Friday Big Heads. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Would have been a lovely promotional
I'm
gimmick, that.
surprised there aren't more celebrity Pez dispensers. You know,
Yeah.
people would like, wouldn't they, a sort of a...
Frankie Dettori.
Yeah, I was
Vladimir
thinking more
Putin.
like something,
You'd like a Putin
maybe
one, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I'd have one of those. What's the band called? Who's the big band now?
U2?
One Direction, is it?
Monday.
All right.
You can have a Harry Styles Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
You'd think that'd be really popular, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
he's dispensed everything else.
That's for sure.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Now, sorry, that
Well,
was
I
an in-breath.
breathed.
I know an in-breath when I hear
Yeah.
one.
I love that you know my in-breaths
I
by
don't
now.
like to jump in on anyone's in-breath. Go on.
You're always welcome.
What
on
was
my
your
in-breath.
out-breath going to contain?
Just a heavy sigh.
Charlotte has been in touch to suggest that you do a Doctor Who podcast as Perkins. 2 hearts, 1 red, 1 blue. Just saying.
Oh, I see.
I think that
As
would be
Per-
rather
as
good in
Perkins.
character.
As Perkins.
Yeah.
Do people do podcasts in character? That could be a revolutionary new idea. That
I don't-
Charlotte
This show so far is full of revolutionary new ideas.
It
It's
is.
jam-packed with them.
It is.
I don't want you to do that. Leave some listeners for the rest of us. I
The
mean,
thing
come
is,
on.
I don't know if it'd be any different from who I normally have if you couldn't see the hat.
Right.
No, it's a good idea. I think Charlotte should think about that, though. Selling that idea to
To the person who
say
played Perkins.
Pam St Clement.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
And say you can do a podcast about EastEnders, but as what was the
Pat
character?
Butcher.
Pat Butcher. Yeah, exactly. I never do that. It's lucky, isn't it? If you're Pat a Butcher, is it like shaking hands with her? No. So I was thinking of one because they're all. I like the real specialist ones where people talk about quite
All right.
narrow
Yeah.
Yes.
topics.
Yes.
I was thinking about interviewing senior members of the Anglican Church in quite a snipey fashion. And we basically mull over the Reformation and various differences in doctrine every week.
Yeah.
But in quite a confrontational and aggressive way. What do you think?
I'd enjoy that.
Okay, well, that's one of the ones.
I'd be downloading that, baby.
What do you think of this netcast?
Is that the fisherman one?
No,
Oh.
I don't. I can't. I've tried fishing. I just couldn't.
Is it the internet?
I went with our Keith fishing.
Oh, he doesn't strike me as a fisher.
Oh God, he's a very
Big fisher.
a big angler. And after about 10 minutes, I got so bored, I got the maggots, and there was an ant hole. And I just put a maggot on the outside the ant hole, and ants had come up and take it away and drag it down into the
How are
hole.
you spelling maggot?
It made double GOT.
Oh, okay. Just like check.
But he's saying it. Maggots.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to check.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm with our Keith now in my mind.
All right.
But yeah, so I would just put it on the side. I mean, looking back on it, it's probably. Can I say this? Is this acceptable? Is it on the A5?
What, the maggots?
Ritual slaughter.
Is it all right to feed? They do it. It's the sort of thing they do on I'm a Celebrity.
It is.
But
Yeah.
Instead of ants,
Doesn't make it right.
instead of ants, it would be ants and decks.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good.
Come on. They never eat anything. You think they'd join in?
No, they don't.
No, but there's just a man, a rather heavy-set man in a khaki shirt overseeing the proceedings.
Oh yeah, that's
they're
true.
not allowed.
But
in.
shouldn't they have a
Yeah.
Christmas special where Ant and Dec do all the
Oh, that would
challenges?
Yeah.
Okay,
They won't do
another
that.
idea.
be good. Another good idea.
I don't want
for
any
this
money
show.
for it, have it.
Flying
But
out of
Charlotte's
him.
idea, I think, is clever. Doing one in. Anyway, Netcast is me. It's ripping off in a way Emily's podcast with the dog walking, because it's talking to a celebrity but whilst doing another activity. I think that's good. I think that puts
Yeah.
people off, you see. They drop their guard.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, you know that netting you get on assault courses that you have to go underneath?
Yes.
Can you imagine, say, I don't know, me and Michelle Collins
Yeah.
going underneath that netting and talking about like her school days?
There's going to be quite a lot of heavy breathing to deal with in.
Also, I'm
you're going
worried.
slowly.
I'm worried about the mics. I mean, there's all sorts of practical considerations here.
You could be Everly Gafford.
True.
I think I'd be all right. But it just, to give them something else to think of. I mean, you did quite an expanse of
I was
below.
going to say, how
Yeah,
long are you
below
under the
netting.
netting for? Because normally in the
45
assault courses
minutes.
that I do, that's about...
45 minutes and edited down
Wow.
to 30.
Is that, yeah.
That would be a good podcast.
I thought monkey bars would be too
Yeah.
rigorous.
Pommel horse?
Difficult.
No, because synchronisation would be important. Just also, there's something very bonding about being under that netting together. I would have thought.
Right.
Okay.
Um,
Let me know how you get on with the guest booking.
of course, I've got to go home and explain my muddy elbows to my girlfriend. It's always tricky.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So here's my. I was talking to David Baddiel,
Yeah.
who is a dear friend of mine, and came around the house we mainly talked about Marquis Smith, but one of the things we talked about, we went on to talking about, I don't know, stuff, and I was saying that the first avocado I ever had was at Glastonbury in the late 80s. And there's a comedian who you may know, Al, called Charmian Hughes.
Yes.
And Charmian had got a converted old ambulance which she travelled about in. So that was parked at Glastonbury. And I went in there with her. Come on. Nothing, just friendly.
Just for avocado?
Bands. Yeah. Well, no, I didn't. She said to me, do you want to... I think actually she had one off. She said, do you want half an avocado? And I'd never had one in my life. And of course I didn't want to seem unsophisticated. So I said, oh yeah, I will. And I was anticipating a pear.
Right.
Oh,
which
I imagine you're disappointed.
It is known
which I
as
think,
the avocado pear,
isn't that what Lembit Hopik said to Gabriella Chica? But I thought it was a pear. You know, like a fruit pear thing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure it was called avocado.
It was called
pear.
avocado pear.
I believe it was, yeah.
So I
Fact
bit
from
into
history,
it, and it seemed to be made of clay. That's what it tasted like.
You didn't bite the skin, did you?
I don't think I did, actually.
Okay.
I think she gave me a spoon, which
I'm
I took
just
as a
getting
hint.
horror flashbacks to when you ate the bay leaf at the girlfriend's house with the spaghetti.
That
But anyway,
was horrible.
yeah.
As I said, it was like eating a tiny medieval shield. Anyway, that was my first ever avocado, and it really, because it was like nothing I'd had before. It was a real experience. And then Dave is looking at me open mouthed, and he said, haven't I told you my avocado story?
I want to know Badil's avocado.
I don't think you have. And he said, and then a mate of his who was in a band, he gave Dave an avocado, and Dave had the same sort of experience. Never tasted. He said to me, it was like a different world. And I thought maybe there's a podcast to be had called My First Avocado.
That would be good.
In which you interview people about exactly that.
Right.
And you could expand on it, but I think there's something in it.
I think there is.
Yeah.
Because I think we're of an age now. I know I'm a bit older than you guys. I'm a bit older still tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But we're of an age where I think we're old enough to be the discoverers of the avocado.
Yeah.
It's like the people who were around when Sir Walter Raleigh bought the potatoes.
Yeah.
We were the early adopters, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, I would have been 30 when I had my first avocado.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I couldn't believe it. I thought I could do a
So different to what you expect, isn't it?
Hey, Frank, I tell you what I'd like. If you had a little review pasted on the avocado, you know, they have the little sticker.
Oh, yeah.
And it just said, like at a gig, and like a 5-star, and it just said, David Badil, a whole new world.
Yeah.
I'd buy that, Avo.
I think Aladdin might sue him. Yeah, and I thought you could have a late night sort of adult version called My First Advocate.
All right.
I remember that.
Which was about like
I would have been about 5, I guess.
when you entered the world of eggnog. Which is, again, it's an obscure topic. But
Snowball.
I think, oh yeah,
I love a
Advocate
snowball.
lemonade.
Yeah.
I think my first snowball.
I'd drink
might
that out of a
just get some
hollowed
people-
out avocado. Sorry, Al.
I think a podcast called My First Snowball might just get people that grew up in cold countries.
Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah.
That's going to be no use, is it? That bit.
There'll be a horror stories. People with one eye saying, "Well, my first snowball blinded me. Thanks very much." Can I say that, Al? Have you got the A5 yet?
Where is the
I
A5?
don't know. The A5 doesn't it run just by top of?
We've had to loan it out to some other DJs.
That would have been a good joke if I knew where the A5 went.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm just going to click my pen for the next batch of top ideas that we're going to pour out here.
Have we had any news from the outside world at all?
Oh, well, people are impressed at your various podcast ideas. I'll tell you that for
Well,
nothing.
Annie QPR says, who's one of our regulars,
Yeah.
she says 51 and never had an avocado.
Oh,
Read somewhere how calorific it was and avoided since. I like that she's speaking in the
Oh.
Tom Chance vernacular.
I think I'm gonna-
Google it. Now, understand it's full of good fats, but can't do
I
it.
didn't get it, but I'm happy to Google it.
Okay.
I don't need to get
it. was a
everything.
part that Simon Callow played in a sitcom, and his
Oh, hold on,
character...
Chance in a Million,
Yes,
Brenda
very good.
Blethyn.
Yes, and Tom Chance's...
I love that sitcom.
His one character trait was that he spoke in note form, abbreviated note form. He
Well,
said, must get cab, leave house now.
I thought he spoke a bit like Samuel Weller from the Pickwick Papers.
Oh, okay, lovely reference.
But it was. I think that is one of the great lost sitcoms. I mean,
I
I
love
might go.
Chance in a
I might
Million.
go and sit down. It might be terrible. I remember it as. I was thinking it was brilliant, and then it never. I don't think it ever did a second series.
No, but I'm still obsessed.
I don't remember it, but I am
Well,
worried
if we
about
can get
the,
a box set, let's have a night in
Chance
together
in a
and
Million.
watch all the
That
episodes.
sounds really good. I'll
Yeah.
bring my jogging bottoms, which I like to do if I'm staying at someone's... I'm not saying that I'm staying over, but it's nice to watch a box set in jogging bottoms, isn't it?
Don't bring them over to mine, if that's okay.
What?
Don't bring the jogging bottoms
Fine.
over.
All right, pyjamas. I'm worried about... is it Annie?
Annie QPR.
Annie QPR. I'm worried about this. I'm not eating avocado because it's high in calories. Not all calories are created equal.
Al knows.
Annie.
Al knows about this stuff.
He knows
Like-
driving and calories.
Well, we have to look at calories. Like the whole point of the phrase calories is that it's a unit of energy that it gives you. It's not a thing that you should avoid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that avocado is full of energy. Empty calories are things that don't give you energy but do give you fat, essentially, like cans of Coca-Cola
All
or
right.
Do you know,
whatever.
Frank, I
Sure.
can
That's
imagine
Al's
him.
podcast sorted.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
going to call
see
it
him.
calories.
Call it alleries.
What if people come along thinking it's allegories?
Oh, that'll be
But
difficult.
Frank,
don't want
when he
people-
was saying that, I could see him with the little head mic on, like Madonna, going up and down the stage. I paid $22.95 for those tickets. Teaching me about food. I would have paid.
Can I say, if you want any check of people have gone into middle age,
I said Madonna.
they say those Madonna microphones,
It's so true.
whereas young people call them microphones.
Microphone.
True.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
976 has been in touch. I'm not certain I understand the end of this. Dandruff has become less common since men stopped combing their hair in anything that reflected, so giving the scalp a break. Do you think that's like metal combs?
No, I think not with anything that reflected, in anything. So if they saw a shop window or a mirror,
I
obviously,
see.
whatnot, they'd stop and comb their hair.
Oh, so men of a different generation
Can't
are more
remember
vain.
the last time I combed my hair.
No.
And that probably does break up the scalp a
Me
bit.
either.
So
I always
maybe,
have someone to
imagine,
do
yeah.
that for me.
maybe it is that.
Frank, Rachel Pavitt has been in touch to say you could borrow my box set if you still have a video.
She's got
For
the
what?
box set.
I remember Tom Chance, this was Chance in a Million with Simon Callow and Brenda Blethyn. Remember Tom's other character trait was always drinking a pint down in one.
Oh, yes, straight down in one.
Lovely.
I think it was
sounds
brilliant.
good.
Yeah.
It really, there's
I
so
recommend
much,
it.
so many lesser sitcoms have gone into the annals as sort of glorious, and that one slipped by.
Yeah.
We need to find out who wrote it.
Yes. Can you get on that, please?
We need to find out where we're going to watch it, because it changes my packing. If I'm coming
Well,
to Emily's,
I'll
then I'm
send-
not bringing my
I'll
jogging
send
bottoms,
you,
but if it's to yours, I am.
I'll send you a telegram.
Oh,
with the
okay,
details.
nice one.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking, if I wanted to send a telegram to someone, could I still do that? Stop.
Yeah. And I said I remembered receiving telegrams when I was a child actress. Yes, I was a child actress. Google me. And on my
I
studio
love it when she
days.
says that.
Well, not
I
least
used to get
because
telegrams.
my name, Emily Dean, does throw up a few other
know.
Google searches.
There's a very naughty lady who shares my name.
She's still working, that woman.
Yeah.
She was doing glamour modelling when we first started this show. I mean, I thought it was a short period of
Right.
work.
She's had a good
little window
10
of
years out of
opportunity.
it.
Being
hasn't
an
she?
international athlete, you don't get very long at it. Got to make your money. Yes, if you're listening, you're up early. So, yeah, I bet she's still in bed.
Oh, she's...
Emily,
Yeah.
the other Emily Dean, let's call her that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably a nice person. I worked with Lucy Pinder. She's lovely.
She's lovely.
You've worked with them all, haven't you? Well,
Still said she said the best thing a glamour model's ever said to me.
Which is what?
When I asked her what her ambition was, and she said to hold a chimpanzee.
I love that.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
we've actually had a text message that I will read to you now from 189. Hi Frank, chance in a million. Wife and I have been trying to remember the title for ages. Thanks to you, just bought the box set of all 3 series, 18
there was 3
episodes.
series. Oh God, I thought there was only 1.
Do you know it
it's
did
gonna
much
be
better than I thought, Frank?
Definitely bring in the jogging bottoms if it's 3 series, guys.
It was a hit.
Written by Andrew Norris and Richard Fegan of British Empire. That's from Alan
they
in
did
Bournemouth.
British Empire.
Is it
Okay.
Fegan or
I have to
Fagan?
say I didn't like.
Oh, didn't you? I did.
But chance in a million. Well, what's
So there
the
we
odds
go.
on that? That's great.
Trey Bond.
I'm so happy that we're talking about that
3
this morning on
series.
Absolute Radio.
How the memory plays tricks.
Do you know who else I'd like to talk about, or what else I'd like to talk about this morning, is 50 Cent, who's one of my
50.
favourites. Are you
Is
familiar
he?
with the work of 50? Well, I've met him,
I've seen
and
him
I found him
live.
charmant. You weren't a fan?
I saw him supporting Eminem at the Milton Keynes Bowl.
How did you find him?
Well, I was a big fan of Eminem. I thought he
I
was all
remember.
right, 50 Cent, but he didn't stand out for me. He was a
Okay.
handsome chap,
Was
Okay.
but that's not how I pick my heroes.
he? No.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got nothing against his essential human existence.
Well,
Oh, good.
he's become, Curtis, as I like to call him,
Oh, okay.
has become a Bitcoin millionaire.
Yes. Now, as you know, Bitcoin is not only one of the things that I don't understand, but I've made a point of not understanding it. I think it's good to have some things in your life you've got no idea
Right.
what they're about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what. I think it's got something to do with PPI.
No, it hasn't.
No, it's not. It's a
Absolutely
cryptocurrency.
Very good.
Well, that explains it then. Isn't that what Dracula uses?
So imagine a currency that exists outside of any sort of governments, and
Very good.
the people. So what? So we would all
So
monitor it
it's like
ourselves.
Esperanto.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah, we
an
all
extent.
monitor it ourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
Kinda.
We
kind
monitor
of,
it
yeah.
ourselves. Have I got some
Well, it's-
monitoring responsibility?
Yes.
Bitcoin I haven't been told about.
You might have some Bitcoin mining responsibilities if you've got a computer.
Could I
I know
physically
that one.
hold a Bitcoin in my hand?
No.
Because I
No.
see pictures of.
Never.
Well, you'd be a rich man if you were. They're worth about is it £8,000?
Just for detail, he's a rich man anyway. But
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
the devil's in
It's
the
a bit
detail.
a sordid subject.
I forgot about that. They're worth about 8,000 out.
Looking at me
10,000?
like I'm the cryptocurrency
I mean-
correspondent.
I
you were talking about the mining.
I still don't get it. It's an international currency, but it's unofficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would I do with it if I had it?
Well,
If you
you'd
had
sell it.
Yeah, or
Can
you
I
could.
buy something with it?
You
Yes.
can buy things with it.
You
What,
can.
on the internet, I suppose.
Yeah.
Virgin, I
right.
believe, accept it, and
Do
Microsoft.
they?
Yes.
Do they?
Well,
But actually, what's happening now is because it's so volatile, it recently went up so much in price
Yeah.
that people stopped spending it because
Then it went down again.
then it went back down again. So
Yeah.
it's very volatile at the moment. But
aren't we all?
here's the interesting thing:
I'm
is
thinking
that
I might bring out my own version called Gitcoin,
oh, that is good.
which I give financial compensation to everyone I'm a bit off with. In the,
Right.
in the work
I think
context.
you should take them round like those golden pennies you buy from the coffee shops, and
Yeah.
you just hand them out. If there's been a Gittish incident,
Yeah,
Gitcoin.
and it says on it, sorry I was a git, Frank Skinner. And then in, 10 years, whatever, how long ever, when I die, the money on them they'll become volatile.
yeah,
And then it really will be crypto
Maybe.
currency.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well,
I love Frank and the Giptocurrency.
Yeah, Gitto.
So essentially, what happened was he got paid for an album he did called Animal Ambition, Which I'd like to say at this point,
like
I've got an animal.
2014 or something, isn't
They're
it?
not very ambitious creatures.
Right.
Strange
No.
title.
Short term. They're
Yeah.
very short term.
No, you never come back and find a pet with a new CV.
I don't associate the animal world with deferred gratification.
No, exactly.
They
I mean,
just-
they're
they want-
happy with a furry hamburger going to the bathroom. There's no ambition with these people.
Aren't we all, dear? I've got some money coming actually for that.
What?
That accident I was involved in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember it.
Did it happen at work by any
I
chance?
don't know, but I've had 7 or 8 texts. It's been dealt with apparently.
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah, so well, I'll keep you posted on that one.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So,
We're discussing 50 Cent's recent discovery, and that is what it was. It's a discovery that he's actually a Bitcoin millionaire because
yeah.
he'd sold all these albums. He'd forgotten that he'd made the arrangement that they would accept Bitcoin for them. So he'd made something like 700 Bitcoin, forgotten all about it, and then remembered last week, oh, I've got 700 of those things. I wonder how much they're worth now. And the answer is £6 to £8 million or something.
And they were worth a few $100,000 at the time. I mean, come on, Frank.
So it'd be like...
That is all right, isn't it?
Remember I told you I found 10 quid in the breast pocket of a jacket the other week?
Bit
It's
like that.
absolutely, it's the most exhilarating feeling.
Great moment, isn't it?
Well,
Fantastic.
he's not the only one. Ghostface Killer has
Oh,
made...
yeah.
He's done well out of it as well, the Bitcoins. I know you're a fan of his, Frank.
I am, I love him. Is he all right?
Yeah.
It's very pale last time I saw him.
It's just part of his
Ghostface.
vibe, I think. Part of his vibe.
I don't know his work. I used to
He's
be...
with the Wu-Tang Clan, I
used to
believe.
be... Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to listen to him a lot.
Okay.
I did have
I think that's right.
quite a long period of
Being into
hip-hop, yeah,
Hip-hop.
but not 50
I
Cent.
remember
Hip-hop.
that.
Of course, the strange thing about the coincidence in all this is that 50 Cent he's a coin in his own right.
He's named after...
In fact, he's a bit of a coin
Yeah,
because
rather rude.
he's 50 cent
yeah,
rather
Yes.
than cents.
right.
So he's a bit of a coin, and then he's made a load of money from Bitcoin. I mean,
Is it an irony? Is
what
that
are
we
the
would say?
chances in a million of that happening?
I mean, if Kanye West became a millionaire from selling sat-navs, it would...
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
or
how it
compasses.
feels like. There's an irony to it.
Yeah.
It's not worth
exactly, or
completely
Stetsons.
ignoring.
Well,
No,
he
it
was
is, that's weird.
bankrupt a few years back.
Who was?
Fiddy was.
Was he really?
He forgot he had all those
and then-
Bitcoin.
yeah, but when he was bankrupt, he did a little bit of a silly thing.
What did he do?
Well, he posted up some pictures of money in bundles in the fridge.
Oh,
that
saying
was-
that he was broke.
Sure, it wasn't
Yeah.
lettuce. That's
No, it was definitely Benjamin's.
I thought he was like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
so
make-
easy to lose it though.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Oh.
they basically have to, and here's the crux of the issue, they have to spend less than they earn. That's the difficult bit for some of
Yeah.
them.
Well, they get bad financial
they-
advice. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What I always
It's
wonder.
hot in here.
What I always
You
wonder.
teasing Frank?
No, it came out by mistake.
I think she's teasing you about.
Yes. I lost a few, Bob. I tell you, whenever I see someone like 50 Cent featured in the press, I always think, I wonder where these big rap stars, how and where they store their baseball caps.
Oh, we must have a walk-in closet.
But-
for
But
sure.
they're not that.
Fresh.
You can't stack. Some people think when you see them for sale, often they're stacked.
Right.
Yes.
But that only works if they're all the same. Do you know what I mean? Because
Right.
you can't tell one baseball bat from another when they're stacked, and they're not going to want that.
Daisy, the producer, I feel she's bursting to say something.
Yeah,
Well,
she wants
maybe
to get
do-
on there.
Do you have some
I tell you what I'm
information regarding this?
What I'm dreaming of is
Think so.
a wheel of heads.
Oh, right.
You know
nice.
those
What, with
big-
a mannequin head?
You know those big wheel of fortunes, like a wheel of
That
heads
is-
that you spin. You think, oh, a New York Giants. Spin it round and that's it.
I don't think there's going to be a business idea left by the end of this show. You are just firing them out.
They
The
must
sound effect.
already
He's
have.
even thought through the sound effect of the
Well,
little
that's-
wheel.
Those
I
wheels
love it.
always sound
Yeah.
like that, don't they?
I love it.
I mean, in my dreams, I'd go beyond that. What I would have, and he's got a big, long, sort of fitted table, and holes. Say every foot, there's a hole with a jet of air.
Oh,
and the
nice.
baseball caps are actually hovering on the
Yes.
jet, like a
Like a hover cap.
like
I
a
love
whale spurt of air,
Nice.
which the caps sit on. I mean, that would be.
it. Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's tremendous variety. How many baseball caps has 50 Cent got, do you think?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in from 953 that I think hits the nail on the head regarding this 50 Cent business.
Should have been MC Hammer they were talking about.
Indeed. Like 50 Cent, I recently found some money I'd forgotten about. Unfortunately, it was an old £5 note, which is no longer legal tender.
Oh, yeah.
That's from Rich in Manchester, ironically.
I found a pound. Oh,
Rich.
yeah.
Lovely one.
Not
I
Rich
found
in
a
Manchester.
pound the other day, which I could take
Big
into
deal.
a bank. You know the old pound thing.
All right, a £1 note.
You know the ones
Okay,
that
high
aren't
roller.
the new pound coin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But this is what I mean, that it's...
It's frustrating. I'll be honest with
This is why I think 50 Cent deserves a bit of credit, because back in 2014...
He's got a bit of credit.
He's got credit.
Back in 2014, before we had... I mean, we've heard of Bitcoin, but only recently, haven't we? Us.
I still don't know.
And
what
we
it is.
still don't know what it
Frank
is.
still doesn't understand it. He thinks
But-
it's something to do with the Count Duckula.
But think back to
Is it
2014 when somebody said to him, "Oh, you know your new album? I think we should accept non-money." And he's like, "Yeah, all right, yeah. What we're going to accept?" And he's like, "Well, it's Bitcoin. Like it's made up, isn't it? Like if I'm about to go on tour, not a plug, just a fact." But if if the venue said, "Oh, we'd like to not pay you in sterling, we were hoping to pay you in RIP pounds," it's a made up currency, I'd be like, "No, I want the full
That's where you're
English
going
money,
wrong, Al.
or I'm not leaving the
but
house."
this is why
I'm
you
not
went
even-
bankrupt, presumably. Because they said we'll pay you in sausages, and you said, "Yeah, that'd be fine."
I love sausages, especially as his album was called Animal Ambition.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's probably the only ambition that the
Is that they wanna be
carnivore
sausage-
animals have is sausages. Not to be sausages. What are you talking about?
That's a weird ambition.
It would be a horrible pig-based ambition to dream of sausagedom.
We've had another text that I'd like to bring to your attention,
Oh,
Frank.
yeah.
It's largely for you. 538.
I know when
has
I'm not
texted.
wanted.
No, it'll all become evident. Morning team. Nobody I have ever met can remember a sitcom from my youth called The Gnomes of Dulwich, which I think starred Terry Scott.
And Hugh Lloyd.
Oh, really?
Straight in there.
Here we go. I distinctly remember the characters were gnomes in a
Yes.
suburban garden.
They were,
Real
yeah.
gnomes.
The whole thing was just them, with the fishing rod and that.
Really?
Just talking about what was going on around them in with the family and all that.
It
And
sounds
not their
weird.
family, the family.
And so they were reduced size, were they? For the purposes of the
Well,
broadcast.
that was the optical illusion.
Okay,
I don't think
yeah.
they were actually miniaturised.
No.
They didn't have the technology.
It
Then.
sounds
Okay.
weird. Steve B continues, I did think at one point that maybe it was a weird dream. He means because nobody else can remember it.
Right.
Frank, you're the only one on the team who might recall this show. Thanks, Steve B.
Stratford upon Avon.
I do recall it, and I'll tell you why it happened, because Terry Scott and Hugh Lloyd had become they were in a film, another sitcom called Hugh and I.
Oh, yeah.
Hugh and I.
Right.
And so
Clever.
they were quite they worked well as a sort of team. So that's where the Gnomes of Dulwich came from. It was already a successful pairing. Be like putting James Corden and Matthew Horn, say, in a sitcom now. Well, not so much now, but if they'd done it then.
Now.
Yeah.
I've worked with Hugh Lloyd.
Have you?
Yeah.
You've worked with them all, Frank.
Yeah, he was sweeping up in a sitcom I wrote. He was like the janitor.
Oh, was he? Oh, at least he was in the sitcom. I thought he was sweeping up.
Oh no, he wasn't. He wasn't sweeping up as in Bitcoin.
Okay.
I didn't mean he was.
Frank, we haven't got time for an additional bit of correspondence, have we? Or has the Fez appeared? Has the Fez dispenser...
has appeared, and
okay, the dispenser...
Daisy's giving me that look that one only normally gets in the course of a long-term relationship. So we'll come, but just bookmark it, darling.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Hello.
Hello.
I've never done that before.
Answering the door.
I've been on the radio for 9 years, and I normally say hello after a song.
It was literally like someone had just knocked at the door.
That was very strange. I did that in a lift once. I got into a lift with about 6 people. I went, hello. They looked terrified. So, yes.
Oh, I was about to read you out a missive from Dan Bilton.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I'm on a card journey with the parents involving crosswords and 60s music. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. And yet there are no tinned sweets in the car.
Stanley Baker not answering.
Whatever happened to the metal tins with boiled sweets or Turkish delight? And what was the powder?
Oh,
I'll tell you what the problem with that was.
I have no idea, obviously. If only there was a jingle.
Yes, I used to use those travel sweets.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is, yes, you do get that white powder on the dashboard, and if you are pulled over for any sort of traffic offence, it just lengthens the whole process.
It looks bad, yeah.
I believe it was icing sugar.
Love that
that makes sense, yeah.
But I did like a travel sweet, and there's something nice about the tin in the car.
I used to love that tin.
Very handy the tins were after if you collected beer mats.
Okay.
I mean, a Cochrane top tip is if you're doing a long journey alone, bag of apples on the passenger seat.
Oh, that's an absolute worst tip I've ever heard.
Very good top tip, actually.
The sticky hand on the steering wheel from the apple.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, and then the cores are all over your upholstery, which, what a night that was. Just happened to be on tour at the same time.
The drummer?
Yeah, we met. Yeah. Was it Jim, the brother?
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, we made him stand outside with a flashlight. Oh, Jim Core, that was a tough gig, wasn't it? Travelling around without being ignored all the time.
Yeah.
Do you think he had a chaperonic role with the three
Jim
beautiful
Core.
girls?
Looking after his sisters. Was it his
Oh,
sisters?
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
imagine.
Holding the travel sweets in the back.
You think he was in the back? Yeah.
Well, you know my thing. There's always the one in the back of the car poking the head through, and I never want to be that person in life.
Can I ask you about Tom Core?
It's called Jim, but please
Core.
do.
Jim Core.
Ask us about Tom Core.
Jim Core, was he... I find this hard to judge as a heterosexualist.
Okay.
Was he good looking as well?
He was absolutely fine.
But he wasn't like they were quite knockout, were they?
No. He was no stunner.
Oh, I hope he's not an Absolute Radio fan.
Oh, yeah.
He's listening to us chat about his appearance this
How dare I say
morning.
that?
I've got a vague
You're right,
sense.
Al.
that-
You know what? We're all God's children. And
he
had a
was
lovely
all right.
face.
He did all right, yeah. I have a vague sense. He was sort of the Branwell Bronte of the band. But I have a vague sense that Jim is involved in some sort of conspiracy theory, abduction by aliens things on the internet.
Oh, that
Is
sounds
he?
good.
But I mean, I'm not sure, and if his lawyer's listening, I might have made that up. But I just felt so much shudder within me.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll Google him when we play a song, won't we, maybe?
Let's do it. JC Superstar, that's what I call him.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So Fiddy forgot his bitcoins. Someone else who's been a little bit forgetful is Bo Beck.
Bo Beck.
Yeah.
Boris Becker.
Yes, very good. He's had a few financial dire straits.
Yeah, he's another bloke. This is we're doing sort of bankrupt celebrities hour. But he's another bloke. How did he get to be bankrupt? He's still working. It's not like he's some washed-up ex-sportsman who couldn't get any more work. He's still on the BBC.
He reckons he's made £100 million in his life. And
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
he works 2 weeks of the year that I'm certain of.
That's for sure,
Yeah.
yeah. And he works hard during that fortnight.
Do you know he lives in Wimbledon?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's brilliant.
That's
He's so
so
hard up
great.
there, he's having to save on bus fare.
I'd like it if David Beckham just lived in Wembley.
Yeah.
No, it's the weirdest. Why? I find that really odd that he lives in Wimbledon. It's just, I suppose he wants to increase his chances of getting recognised.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Which are probably quite high anyway, because he is a
Think so.
distinctive
He's
figure,
a distinctive-looking man. Unfortunately, when he tried to claim that child wasn't his, and it looked exactly the same as him.
The least needed DNA test in the world, as I think it was called.
It was
they didn't use
essentially-
it. No skin was broken. They just went, "Come on, mate," at the hospital.
It was him and a baby grow, essentially.
Oh man, that was brilliant.
So he's
There's a good
lost.
text in.
It's
What's,
not my
what was
child.
the least needed DNA test? Boris Becker or Arnold Schwarzenegger's? You know, the other one.
I don't remember his one.
His love child
Yeah,
looked
it's
exactly
worth
like him
that's
as
worth
well.
a look.
Must be the German
Yeah.
thing.
It's a very strong, yeah.
Strong genes.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Bo Beck has allegedly lost. I'm going to say allegedly. I mean, there's no scandal attached to it, but he's lost
There is
his
a bit.
trophies. Yeah,
There is a bit.
he can't find his trophies anywhere.
Quite
He's looked
notable.
high and low.
Some quite notable
Has he?
tennis trophies.
Is that what he was doing in the broom cupboard?
I'm
I think
looking.
he was looking for
Yeah,
them.
I'm
exactly.
looking for my trophies.
He was looking for a trophy bride, more like it. Hey,
My
Steve.
money is on old Mar Becker,
Oh, you reckon?
who's got the best name ever, Elvira Pish.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's her name.
Elvira Pish Becker.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the first Mrs. Becker.
No, that's his mother. That's
his
old
mother.
Mar Becker.
So in a way,
literally
yes.
old Mar Becker. Oh,
Yeah, the original old Mar Becker, like old Mar Murray.
There's so many Mar Beckers now.
Yeah. It's difficult to keep track, isn't it?
Yes.
I
She
think
looks quite like him as well.
Look, can I just as a general overview on this,
Oh yeah.
I'm not suggesting this is the case in any way, but am I right that I was shocked to hear this, that when you go bankrupt, if you're a big sports legend, that they can actually take your trophies and sell them off as a way of paying the debtors.
Yeah.
Which seems to me harsh. Trophies seem such a personal... But anyway, they can do that.
And then by coincidence, he's lost his.
So a coincidence. That,
Yeah.
I
It's
wonder
weird,
if they're
that.
around his house saying, "What's that big cabinet with a sheet over it?" Oh no, this is where I have my Stein collection, my pottery steins from München. No, it's very. I love a Stein. Do you?
Yeah, nice.
I love that.
Boris,
You know,
what's that? What's that shed out there?
I love the thumb lever technology on a Stein. Such a great idea.
I think old
the
Mar
shed-
Becker's
yeah.
buried them all.
It's all of it. You don't think 50 Cent's got hats on them? Various sizes. No, it's just. I'm not suggesting
No.
for a second
Of
that
course
Boris Becker
not.
would do
The
that.
very idea.
He's
But
not that kind of character.
I
is he?
actually,
No.
it seems wrong to me that they can take your trophies away.
Well, I mean, if you owe people money, and they are worth a lot of money, because often they're embezzled
Oh, no,
with
but
jewels,
we're
aren't they?
talking about-
They're,
yeah.
gold and silver.
We're
and,
talking about. Do they have jewels?
Great.
on the
Can I
sport
just say,
trophies?
great use of
I
embezzled.
think they've got jewels on them.
To be fair to Al, in case you're going to
Yeah,
phone it.
regular readers.
Oh, yeah.
Prince
totally.
Nassim was once on fantasy football and told me that the Sultan of Brunei had given him a watch embezzled with diamonds.
It's a great reference.
I
Al.
think I know where they might be, because I've thought about this.
Where?
And, you know, your tennis trophies are often like cups, aren't they? And big
Oh, yeah.
plates. I bet he's not even looked in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cups and plates cupboard is full of...
Actually,
Bling.
had he been a female tennis player, they mainly get plates.
Yeah, they get a lot
They get
more
the
plates.
plates.
They're much easier. You just have the hubcaps on the car.
Yeah.
that could be your 4 Wimbledon singles.
Oh, that'd be good.
No.
What about when Paul Catamole from, yes, I remembered his full name, from S Club 7 sold his Brit Award recently on eBay,
yeah.
66,000. So he was so happy.
No.
Yes.
He did, yeah.
He was so happy about this price.
6,000.
He put another one up. The first was for Best Band. I think the second was for Keep On Moving, is it, Sarah? You'd know the name of it. And unfortunately, I think he thought he was going to get like 3 times the price. He got 65,800.
Right.
So close to it. But he's made 120 grand out of
I'm
these.
amazed.
Bad couple of weeks,
that-
is it?
No disrespect to S Club 7, other than the usual disrespect.
No extra disrespect.
Other
No
than
extra, no more
total.
disrespect than normal for S Club 7. But I wouldn't have thought he would have got 2 grand for that. I
agree.
find that absolutely.
Well, now
gobsmacked.
everyone's had it. Abs from 5 is doing it now.
He's not.
He is.
Oh.
He's selling his trophies
Yeah,
as well.
they're all doing it now.
Oh.
Oh, this is. I love it, actually. Put your trophies where everyone can see them. eBay.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. All doable, I would say. Here's a quiz question for you.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
How tall is Boris Becker?
Okay, should we do a little guess-orama?
Go on.
I'll do 5'10".
No, 6
No.
6'1",
Yeah, you're right, probably.
What about
which would be short by
Daisy.
tennis player standards today. I think.
5'9", Daisy thinks?
Not a
And
chance.
now,
No, you're right, Al.
Sarah is a bit of a tennis fan.
Big fan.
Ooh!
So have a guess. 6 foot. Okay.
Frank Skinner?
So we got he's 6'3".
Is he?
He does. He's one of those tall people who looks a bit short.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
you're right.
Mate, did he have a very big racket? I was stunned
Like a
when I read he
racquetball
was
racket.
6'3".
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, that is
not
yeah.
much room in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Anyway, room on the broom. That's what he should have called his
Yeah.
autobiography.
Nice and tall. That's what Nan
room
said.
in the broom. Brackets cupboard. Close brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Va-va-voom in the broom.
Vavoom. Yeah.
I just really hope he finds those trophies, Frank.
Yeah, it's.
What, in order to pay people what they're owed? Is that what you're saying?
I have to say, I feel.
It's horrible when you lose sort of 50 trophies
I
like
don't
that.
feel they should be able to take your trophies and sell them. I think that's too much. I think that's like. I mean, where does that end? Does it say you've gone bankrupt? We could sell your kidney in.
That's
In
fine.
the
I'm
Far
fine with
East.
that. Pay your
That'd be
debts.
okay.
I did like as well one of the comments underneath this story. I know we sort of resist giving these people the oxygen of publicity. However, I did enjoy someone saying, "What a loser."
Yeah.
You can call the man many things, but he's certainly not a loser.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah,
not.
they were mixed, those comments. I noticed some comments.
Can I say, by the way,
Seems like a nice bloke was somebody else's.
yeah, again, wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither a loser nor a nice bloke.
No, neither a loser or a nice bloke be, as I think Polonius said to Laertes in Hamlet.
Lovely
That's
reference,
terrible,
Frank.
terrible advice. You can think of a lot of people who took that, though. Neither a loser nor a nice bloke be. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
like that. That
Yeah.
probably would be a key to success.
Well, I think that's probably the motto in the city, isn't it?
But, in the city, there's 1,000 things I want to say to you.
Oh.
So, so it's my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday for tomorrow.
I'm 61.
Lovely.
I mean, what? I need a jingle for that. 61, can you believe it? I know the Russian national anthem is the Russian Revolution is over 100.
Frank likes to keep his birthday low key.
Yeah.
As you can hear. 61, can you believe it?
Well, I tell you what, I did go to, for my birthday last year, part of my treat was to go to the Hokusai exhibition,
Oh, yeah.
which is the guy who did the Great Wave.
The wave.
Oh, yeah.
Mexican bloke. And
It's not
and apparently the
not.
Japanese, there's a wave.
Japanese.
Yeah.
The Japanese believe that when you get to 61, you begin a whole new phase of your
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
I was only
But I
telling
mean, like a
someone
posi-
that you told me this the other day. It's
Yeah.
really, it's
all
really
his
interesting.
all his great works he did after he was 61. Tremendous news. Yes. You know what he loved as well?
What?
Favourite track?
Morning, Tokyo.
Oh, come on. Let's get the wave going, guys. Is Prince William going to join in? He is. Love it. They're very down to earth, the new ones.
True.
Yeah. Very,
Did
very
you enjoy
down.
your birthday presents, Frank?
Yes, I tell you what I got this morning. I got some socks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A really
Not
nice
just any old socks.
Yeah,
No.
not bamboo.
They are
Yeah.
bamboo.
They are bamboo.
They are
They are
bamboo.
bamboo.
The old bamboo.
Am I
They're made
allowed
of-
to wear
they're made
bamboo
of bamboo,
socks
but-
after they shunned me deliberately?
Well, we paid money for
You'd
these
said that
socks.
yeah,
Okay.
they were
That's
purchased.
all right.
They're not free.
They're a
In
gift.
case you're a new listener, Alan was basically begging for free bamboo socks
With no
on the air.
dignity.
I
You're right.
reprimanded him for this and told him they could. I didn't want their socks.
I would describe his behaviour as somewhat thirsty that
Yeah.
morning.
No, I think actually it all began by me saying that I had received some bamboo socks for Christmas, and then
Yeah, but
we
you
got
were
sent more,
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
which I was happy with.
It was all a bit Dizzy Rascal talking about how much he'd love a Black Nando's card.
Yes.
Anyway, so I said, I don't want to be in that situation, so don't send them in. So Bamboo sent them in for everyone on the show except me, which I sort of admired, I think I said. But now I've got some anyway,
Yeah.
and they're legit.
Yeah,
That's what I
lovely
like.
they are.
I also got a toothpick holder
Yeah.
engraved.
Yeah.
Special engraving.
Sterling silver.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I've seen it on things.
What
Yeah.
do you get the man who
Or
has
Bitcoin
everything?
silver, as
It
50
says,
Cent calls it. No, it's great.
Frank's toothpicks.
I use toothpicks all the time because when you get older, your teeth just become like shelves.
And also you eat a
For
lot
food.
of pomegranate seeds, don't you?
Oh man,
Well,
I'm a
it's the
slave,
sort
I'm a
of
slave to
thing
the pomegranate.
I would say a gentleman carries around with him.
It's it's perfect
Yeah.
because it's ornate and practical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somewhat like you.
and and a series of fabulous books. Robert Harris's Munich.
Yeah.
Lincoln on the Dido album. What's that called? What's it called?
Lincoln on the Dido album.
What's it called? Lincoln in the Bardo.
Ah.
Yeah, I didn't even know they'd met. I mean, she looks old. I didn't think she was that old. And a cookbook, my first ever cookbook, I think, but it's aubergine based.
When you say cookbook, it's just called aubergines.
Oh, it's about aubergines.
Yeah. It's
But
based on the emoji.
It'll be an absolute godsend for my new podcast, My First Aubergine,
Excellent. That would be good.
which my first interview was with Barney the dinosaur. As he got a tale to tell about Confucius. He was in the shower. Well, anyway, I'll save that story. I'll save that story for on the night.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Can we do some more Boris news?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. This time it's not Bo Beck, it's Bojo.
Oh,
I want to tell you a little story.
So this is Boris Johnson. I don't think we've ever had a show where there's been two
Bows.
main features
Two
about
Bo.
people called Boris.
To Bo.
Yeah.
He
they're like buses.
has
aren't they?
discovered a long-lost relative in Basel.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Are you
Basel,
going to
as I
stick
think.
with Basel?
Basel,
Some
yes.
people say basil, don't they?
No,
So
it's
that,
Basel.
now that's what Americans call basil, the
Yes.
herb.
Oh, I've got confused between the place
It's
Basel
Basel.
and the
Or as
herb
they would
basil.
say, basil the herb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Basel or Baal. You're
Well,
meant to
I've
actually
been
pronounce
to
Don't
Basel.
think you-
Oh, yes.
And
I've been
they
to-
seem to call it basil.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what do they know?
I thought somebody was calling it basil.
Yeah, but
No.
that was the bloke you was with.
And
That
we
was
were
you.
we were having a pizza.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was from America.
You were telling him about Descartes.
That would be a
Which is-
good book. That would be a
which
good
is what,
podcast.
which-
Descartes in Basel. I'd listen to that.
If Des O'Connor had a rickshaw company, he could call them Descartes.
We have had an email in asking why I get teased about this Descartes thing because they haven't ever heard it on a previous podcast.
Keep up, it's Basel now.
It's basil
Yeah,
now.
so
It's all coming back to me.
Al was trying to show off with the referring to a philosopher. And said,
I don't think that's quite
referred to
accurate, but I'll let you.
Descartes, René Descartes as Descartes.
I'll,
We all,
Yeah. Look,
none of us, even
had-
Homer nods.
Even Homer nods.
I don't know if you watch The Simpsons.
I called that breed of dog, what did I call it, Frank? Weimarina.
Yeah.
And it's a...
Weimaraner.
Yeah, I got it wrong.
Yeah. I don't have one yet. To
Oh,
quote.
you've got loads.
never made a mistake on air to
Never.
this day, have you?
Absolutely never.
Happy birthday for tomorrow, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So anyway, Bojo in Basel, what a movie.
Yeah.
They've discovered they had this mummy, and it's the great-great-great-great-great-grandmother of Boris Johnson.
Yeah, I think it's actually 7 greats. I
Yeah.
counted.
Yeah.
So it's the great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother of Boris Johnson.
Did you miss one?
Oh, possibly.
It's that
But-
You're
kind
on
of-
my case this
that kind
morning.
of sloppy attitude that leads to being teased for 4 years about Descartes.
What can I...
Remember that time Emily only said 6 greats when she meant 7?
Well,
Yeah,
it's
don't worry, we've all
important.
made mistakes. Al.
I think it is important, though, because I'd like to know how many greats you need till you get to the point where they can just stick a picture of your dead grandmother.
Yeah.
The dead body of your grandmother. In some papers, they've stuck it next to her face, her
Yeah.
mummified, terrible, age-ravaged face.
Thanks very
next
much.
Next to Boris's was a sort of, hey, here they are together.
Yeah, like peas in a pod.
This is this is a dead person, and so there must be a great. They wouldn't do that with your grandmother or
No,
No.
your great grandmother, probably.
no.
When do they think, oh, wow, it's just like a mummy now? Doesn't really
Yeah.
count as a person.
Yes, probably about 5 in.
I think, yeah,
Five.
I think
I imagine.
greats.
Well, let's agree on 5.
She was Switzerland's most famous mummy,
I read that.
which I thought was a wonderful accolade.
Okay, so here's a question for you then. How
Top
many,
3.
How many contenders for that can we name now? Switzerland's most famous mummy. I didn't even think they did mummification.
Maybe one of the Lint family.
Did
Oh,
you know
good-
that they
good
did
shout.
I didn't
mummification?
actually. I didn't
You'd
know.
imagine the Swiss would knit something
Yeah.
for a corpse, something colourful. But
Yeah.
no, I had no idea. That's a white. You know, when at school you used to say, you know, if I'd been born in the Faroe Islands, I'd probably be an international footballer and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know, or people go into the Winter Olympics sometimes.
Yeah.
Not many people are in it. Is this why Tina Turner took Swiss citizenship?
Oh, do you think?
yeah.
She's going to try and embalm herself into the embalm her way to immortality.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I think you might be onto something there.
It's a weird thing, that, wasn't it? Do you remember that?
What?
Tina Turner became Swiss.
Did she really?
Yes, it's the weirdest thing.
Straight, extraordinary
I'll
decision.
tell you who's happy about this story. No one's happier about this story than the Swiss, because it's very rare that a story about Swiss history is as innocent as a mummy being related to an English politician. Usually the phrase
Yeah.
Swiss history is closely followed by Nazi gold, isn't it? Like,
Oh, is it? I suppose it is. Yeah.
I think so.
He's related to everyone, though.
Bojo.
It's because of Granny Butters. Yeah.
I might do a podcast about Swiss history called Swisstory.
Oh, that's good.
What do you think?
That is good. I thought your ideas had cooled off a bit in the last hour, but they're back.
well.
He's on fire.
It's had a resurgence.
Switzerland's a beautiful country. River deep, mountain high. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
That's how
Lovely.
Tina describes it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Imagine the morning Tina woke up and said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get Swiss. Can you imagine? What's she talking about? Says she's going to get Swiss. What? You can't tell her anything. I'm getting Swiss. Where's my skis? Oh, man. That must have been a happy day.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
The great, you're going to get militant.
Seven
about me.
greats.
7 greats grandmother of Boris Johnson,
Yeah.
woman. One of the reasons that her remains are intact is that she was preserved by the mercury that they used to
Yes.
treat her because she had syphilis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently she had syphilis from
Can we say that?
It's in the
all right?
A5.
Is that on the A5? Is it on the A5?
Is it allowed?
It's in the A5.
I think it's allowed, isn't it? Because it is
Yeah.
a history story.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't want to cast aspersions on the Pfeifels or whatever it is that they're pronounced, but it says that she caught syphilis from treating the ill.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, sure you did.
We have no evidence for that. You see that? Because she's got so many
story.
Because she got so many greats, we can say what we like about her.
Exactly.
She was an original Bischoff.
Pardon?
Yeah. She was she?
I mean, I've heard her called some things, but
She was a noblewoman, though, and they said they could tell
Yeah.
because of her expensive clothes. Well, I mean, I've seen that mummy. I mean, I appreciate, you
Who
know.
knew that there was mummies in Switzerland? Who knew?
Yeah. They get everywhere, those Johnsons.
Have you seen those cuckoo coffins?
Pfeffels.
Have you seen those cuckoo coffins?
No?
No.
When the corpse rises up on the hour, it's absolutely terrifying.
Oh, they sound good.
Just goes. Oh man, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Can I ask you, this is probably very, and as you get older, you get more sort of narrow-minded and
Yeah.
bigoted. But if anyone,
Speak for yourself.
if I
No,
read
I definitely
if
am.
I read of
Yeah, you are.
anyone who says they're moving to Switzerland, I sort of write them off as a person.
Right.
Now,
What
why is that?
about Dubai?
Dubai?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Gone.
come on.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do I feel that? I mean, I had a lovely time in Switzerland. I liked it there.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Dubai, obviously.
Why is that?
Well, I just tend to think they're
Dubai,
running
Club
away.
7, you know.
Oh, yes.
They're running from something, aren't they? I think.
I think we
sure-
may be in danger of losing many of our expat
Oh, yes.
listeners here. by
Well, they
saying
don't
that.
count. They're lovely,
I
obviously.
know people who swear by Dubai as their holiday resort.
Don't swear in Dubai. They might have rules
No,
about that.
yeah.
I don't
Do
know.
that? Is
I don't
it
know.
strict in Dubai?
I don't know.
I thought it
Yeah.
was just like a big party.
I'm just messing about. No, I think there is some strictness in Dubai.
Okay.
So,
think.
moving to Switzerland, you would just consider that an odd life choice?
I just think, you know, I mean, I'm thinking Tina Turner,
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins,
Roger Federer.
I know he was there. He was born there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He had previous.
I think that's
He
if
is-
you're born there.
he
I
is,
mean,
as
I
they
always
say,
loved Martina
he is a
Hingis.
Swiss, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Martina Hingis.
All right.
What a forehead. That's what it is. It's got a forehead as big as mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what you look
Who
for?
else? Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, isn't he?
He
live
moved there years ago.
Come on.
Because he was
Yeah,
paying
but
too much
nothing-
tax.
You're
here.
witness.
It was because he was paying too much tax here. He was quite open about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I think it is.
He'll be
It's
losing his
mainly,
trophies soon.
It's mainly.
Yeah, maybe.
Will he? He will if he keeps shutting that door so quickly on the car. Anyway, what else?
Well, Boris Johnson's middle name. Well, actually, Boris Johnson's name, it said in an article I read, his name is Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
De Pfeffel.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at it on the internet,
Googling corpses.
It also suggested some other famous people's names. Guess what Vladimir Putin's middle name is?
Mark.
Good guess, not the right
that's a
answer.
good one.
Vladimir
Yeah.
Vladimirovich Putin.
But that'll be to do with
Oh,
him
I
being
love
the
it.
son of somebody called Vladimir. Well,
All right,
Yeah.
so if he has a son,
It's
he'll
like
be
those
called
Chekhov
Vladimir
names.
Vladimirovich.
No, he'll
Yeah.
be called Vladimirovich.
What a
Bit of
night!
fun.
What a night that was.
I don't have him pegged as being that much fun, but that is fun, isn't it? That is fun.
No, well, Emily gave me a book about Russian literature,
Oh, yeah.
which
Yeah.
has
Yes.
led me into reading Anna Karenina.
All right.
Oh, lovely.
And the thing is with the Russian, I should name check
Yes,
the book.
it's by Viv Grosskop.
Oh,
and I can't.
yes.
I will remember what
But
the
you
book
look
is
up that
called.
name.
Yeah, well, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
It sort of gets you into reading Russian literature, which I've never really read. But the names, they'll say, well, how are you, Ivan Ivanisovich Belapovich? Belovich.
Right.
They'll do the whole name,
Oh,
which I
wow.
quite like doing the full
It's
name.
called the Anna Karenina fix.
Yes. What do you think, Emily Dean, of that idea? They do it a lot on the radio.
They do, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to that history thing with Melvin Bragg.
Oh, yes.
Our time. Yes. Gandhi was a very... So what do you, Martin Williams, think about Gandhi? He does a lot of that. Yeah, so we should...
It's very This Is Your Life, obviously. I'm sure when you were on This Is Your Life, Frank, they constantly Frank Skinner.
When I was
You
on
were
This Is
born?
My Life, the sibling chair was filled by David Baddiel.
Oh,
Yeah,
I find that very touching.
it was very touching. We were almost touching. Especially when Basil Brush nearly choked to death. That was a highlight. I know you don't know what I'm talking about. Why don't you just trust me? It's my birthday tomorrow. Let me off.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've actually had a text message from somebody 628 who was there on the night of your This Is Your Life.
Okay, at the London Palladium.
It's fair to say Basil Brush had enjoyed a few shandies. They continue.
Yes.
That's from Nick in Stevenage.
Yes, he said a lot of Mr. Frank. Blah, blah. It was very disturbing.
We've got some emails that have just been skulking around in Email Corner forever. I don't know if we've been to Email
I
Corner.
don't think we even need to go to email.
All right,
we can
let's
just go to the emails.
Discuss.
Yeah.
Frank et al.
Good.
As in and all.
Al.
A couple of weeks ago, you referred to the story that the Americans spent millions developing a pen that works in zero gravity, while the Russians just used a pencil and dubbed the phenomenon of a story that everyone knows, but everyone also thinks no one else knows, as a big mo in honour of Gary Oldman's sister. This could also be called a Birmingham Canal, they continue.
Oh, yes. Now, I'll tell you what that is. I call it a big mo, as regular readers will know, because everyone tells you that Big Mo is Gary Oldman's sister, thinking that you don't know, but everyone knows, because the Birmingham one is that Birmingham have got more canals than Venice, which is, again, you're told as if nobody
as if
knows.
It's some extraordinary revelation.
Everybody. Well, it's remarkable, but everyone's told you 100 times.
Well, the emailer continues. The problem is, it's not a Big Mo, because it's not true. Ordinary biros, which existed at the time, work in zero gravity just fine. And the Russians didn't use a pencil because bits of broken pencil tip flying around a spaceship getting into the electronics would be disastrous.
Yes, I think someone mentioned that when we talked about it.
Problem with graphite or something.
So you can write with a biro in zero gravity.
Well, what about all those space pens I bought?
I know. I don't
We were gifted them.
That's to keep the monkeys in.
Well, there's another problem.
Okay.
So, what do we call a story that everyone knows but thinks no one else knows, but which isn't actually true?
A Disney.
Oh, that's good.
Hang on.
I'll tell you why I'd call it a Disney.
Everyone. Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Any ideas?
Yeah, the
go on.
frozen head thing.
Everyone thinks that Walt Disney is cryogenically frozen, or at least his head is.
Right.
But it's not true. And the irony,
The Disney's
the
a good
deep
one.
irony, is that he was cremated.
Oh,
Walt Disney.
that is a deep
So not
irony.
only is he not ice, he's the stuff that you put on ice to stop slipping.
Wow.
I mean, that is...
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
So, we'll call that a Disney.
I love that. Okay. Disney
That's
it
good.
is. Here's another email. I'm going to call it Email 2. Hi, F.A.
Can I just, before you, can you
Yes.
think of another? Is there
Yes,
another
I'm
one
just
of these?
thinking if there's
A
any more
story
of
that
one. They're
everyone
not
thinks
quite
is-
urban myths, are they? It's different to that.
No,
I
I can't.
They're close, aren't they?
They're very close.
Yeah. Well, go on.
really.
Someone will send another
Someone will send one in.
example
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sure.
Have we got time for the second email?
Have we? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Hi, F.A. and DME. Long time, bit Tom Chance there, with the Telegram speak. Long time reader, first time contributor. Just wanted to inform listeners of some of the pitfalls of Emily's correct. Oh no, I've read the wrong one. I didn't want to read that one. Should I carry on reading it?
It didn't sound like one you should read. Let's try something. Let's try something like
Yes.
that.
It's too Emily-ish.
And I've
I
got
don't
one
want to
here.
read that one anymore.
Frank is not very. No, that's not the one I meant to. Now go on. Go to your whatever makes you happy.
I really don't want to read one which is critical of me.
No.
Okay.
I don't want you to.
I want to start with Dearest Radio Chums. How about that?
That's good.
This Christmas Eve, I had an idiotic eureka moment when my partner said to me, "Come on, Cinders, don't ask," as we were leaving the house.
This is not from Walt Disney, is it?
The penny dropped then that Cinderella's name comes from her lowly position in the household and having to clean the cinders from the grate of the fire. How I managed to go almost 40 years, it's brave, without realising this, I don't know.
No.
Rather new to the show and have caught up on the back catalogue, etc., etc. It's been emotional and rather educational. That's best wishes from Chris.
I didn't know that.
Really?
Didn't know that. No, like, this is a eureka
Can I say
moment for
I
me.
did know it?
So did I, but I have played buttons.
Oh, yeah, you should know that.
So, it cropped up professionally.
Yeah.
I was buttons to the Cinderella of a woman who I believe is now known as Samantha Janus.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yes.
We won't go into too far into that. But, well, as they say. She's very lovely, actually. Is she an ender now? Dead.
And he's dead.
Oh, dead. Oh, God, don't tell me that.
Goodness me.
You can't just shout out dead.
No, well, I just looked across at Dave to the producer, and she did. Not only did she do the dead, she didn't do it in a bowed head and the hat came off. She did the knife across the throat. Thing. And I thought Samantha Janus had gone down, but no, her character,
It's a character.
has gone down.
Spoiler
Thank
alert
God.
for anybody that's got EastEnders
Father
on
Christmas
video.
in red and white from Matt.
Oh,
Because of
yes.
a Coca-Cola commercial. Is a Disney.
And also red,
That
black
is
and white
good.
because it's the colours of Lucifer, and Santa is an anagram of Satan. That one.
Have you made those ones?
No.
Make that up.
Oh, I thought, don't people say that all the time?
Never.
They're doing it. They're doing my church. Yes, thank you. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.